It's your call with John Penny and Dwayne Long.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, John?
I'm doing good. I want you to start off.
I love that shirt of yours.
It says champion on it.
Champion, king.
Some people bought it for me. They said it's just your shirt, John. That's all it is.
Well, you're a champion, that's for sure.
Well, thank you. I was. It's hard to. I'm trying to become a champion of pickleball. That's a rough sport, man. It's a rough sport. It looks so easy and I play tennis and I love tennis. And it is harder than pickleball quite a bit.
Yeah.
But pickleball is so much fun for guys our age.
Yeah, I mean, you have there's a lot more running with tennis, but there's a lot of short, quick stop and goes in the game of pickleball, and there's some great players in the area also.
And there are some great. We should get one of those players on here sometime too.
Yeah, we should.
Because it's a new sport, but it's the biggest growing sport in America.
I wonder if one day it'll be an Olympic sport.
I would not doubt that. It's easy. It's not expensive to build courts. It's pretty short. It's a third of the size of a tennis court. So you make a lot more of them. I'd love to get into really playing pickleball, but I want to get some lessons and stuff like that.
Yeah, we need more experience.
Right.
Yeah, we played for a while, and then
we won a lot of matches.
We did good.
We beat that man and the woman, that really cute girl, beat them 11-2.
Yeah, and then they come back and whoop us, I think, on the next
day.
No,
never. You must have been with somebody else.
Not with you, huh?
Not with me.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, we've got Olympics going on now. And,
yes.
And the American team isn't doing really, really good like they thought they might.
I want to tell you something. I'm having a hard time I'm just having a hard time watching the Olympics and stuff. I don't really feel like it's a team. I feel like it's just individuals that want to make a lot of money off of it.
Yeah, I can't, it is hard and difficult to kind of want to root for that USA team, USA, when you even got some of the players who aren't necessarily.
Well, they're kneeling down for the national anthem.
Yeah, they're not necessarily playing for the USA.
No.
They're playing for themselves.
Right.
So it's difficult, really difficult. But
who's that Osaki girl, the girl that plays tennis?
Yes.
She got beat.
Yeah, she's out of the tournament.
I'm wondering if she's going to complain about having to listen to questions from people that didn't speak English. I don't know.
Well, she was supposed to be the face of the Japanese Olympic team.
Right.
And now she's done.
I know.
They're how faceless. Easy it is.
They are faceless.
And then I know yesterday the famous gymnast for the United States, Simone Biles, she dropped out of the team competition.
Yeah, I think did she drop out or did she lost?
No, she dropped out of the team competition. And
why?
I don't know why. I didn't get that far in the storyline, but I know that that's one of the reasons that the Russians, who are not even supposed to be in the Olympics because of doping rule violations, they're under what they call the Russian Olympic Committee team, and they're still participating in the Olympics. How do you get that?
Well, I remember boxing in the national Golden Gloves, national AAU tournaments for the chance to go to the Olympics one year. And I got beat by the guy that went through the Olympics. And I thought I beat him, but it's amateur sports is not pure. If people think that, it's wrong. They have their favorites. They know who they expect to win. And if they have advertised those people a lot, they're the ones that are going to win, they have a really good chance of winning.
Oh, yeah. If you've got a coach that has some notoriety and you've got some fans or whatever that might be close, then there's a good chance you can move on a little bit quicker than others.
Right. And I'll tell you, I've never told this story on the air anywhere, but the first year I fought in the National Golden Gloves was in Fort Worth, Texas. Went down there with the Kansas City regional team.
Mm-hmm.
Larry McManus was on the team, myself and somebody else we knew. And I made it all the way to the semifinals, and I'm fighting this guy, and I beat him. I believe I beat him. I mean, everybody, most of the crowd thought I beat him, but I lost the fight, and I found out it was because they had changed rules in boxing to where if you were the Kansas City team, you couldn't have somebody, one of your coaches, sitting in the first row and yelling out instructions for you. They didn't want the coaches yelling out instructions, even though he wasn't my coach for that fight. He was sitting in the front row. And I never blamed him for it. I mean, it was just a mistake. I love the guy. I'm not going to mention his name, but he's from Kansas City. And I loved him, and he was a great guy. And you and I, one time, he came to Kansas City with his daughter and his niece, and he asked us to take his to a dance. So
I remember that.
we went to a dance. Well, he said, John, I got a Cadillac here. Would you mind driving that over to the mall? I didn't even have a driver's license, man. And I said, yeah, I can
That
do
never
that.
stopped you before.
No, I said, I could do that. And we took out driving, and the girls kept going, come on, John, step on the gas a little bit. And I go, driving is a very serious thing.
Yes, it is.
I'm not going to make any mistakes, get a ticket today. You
And
know?
it was an awful pretty Cadillac
Oh,
also.
yeah, that was a good looking car. Boy. Best car I probably ever drove in my life. But as you go through sports, unless you're incredibly talented, you lose sometime
Along the line, you're going to lose. And that could be a learning experience
Exactly.
that could elevate you to go to the next level.
I learned more from losing to people than I ever did by beating them.
Yeah.
And I was, always, once you want to fight, people go, all around you, grab a hold of you. And I won the Southern Championship for a while. And it was nice. It was fun. But you have to keep growing, And the Olympics, to have the chance to be an Olympic, just even to be in the Olympics means you're one of the greatest athletes in the world. The honor of that. And to say you're taking all the money from the country you can. You're taking the training.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking the flights, the food, the putting people up at the stadiums and stuff, or the hotels and things. That's all comes out of part of the U.S. money for the Olympics, and then you won't stand up for the national anthem? I'm sorry. I don't care what race you are, who you are, what you are. You stand up.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with your own belief system and all that. But if you're an American and the national anthem is playing, you need to at least have some respect for the men and women who lost their lives fighting for that freedom.
Gave up, they're crippled or hurt. So many things. We owe people. We really owe people for that.
Yes, we sure do.
And I want to get on something a little bit lighter now. But like
the NBA, how about the Olympic men's basketball team? You talk about lighter. They're a little lighter.
Well,
they don't have anybody worth playing hardly. They got some good guys. I should say.
They've got a great team. It's just that they're not playing very. They didn't. A lot of them didn't practice with each other. They didn't. It wasn't.
Well,
and they got beat by France, which.
Woo.
Basketball.
We.
The basketball bounced so funny for everybody.
Yes, he did.
I loved France when I was over there. I had a great time over there.
Oh, I'm sure it's a great place. But you don't lose basketball games to the French. No, you don't. You don't have LeBron playing. You don't have Steph Curry playing. You don't have James Harden playing. There's a number of stars that aren't playing this year. They decided to set out the Olympics, and for justifiable reasons. I mean, they had their health issues also, but for the opportunity to play for America, that is something you really need to take.
The greatest basketball team of all time was the basketball team: Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal. Those guys, they were just
the
awesome.
dream team.
The dream team.
Yeah.
And that was maybe the greatest team of all time, of any sport. I mean, it was an incredible team. All stars, many, many times over. I mean, any five of those guys would have won the championship.
Oh, yeah. And actually, we do have a dream team over there. But the dream is their opportunity to win. That's a dream.
Right.
They should win, but
you never know.
You never know, especially with this group of players that we have.
Do you remember when Bobby Knight was here for the Boys and Girls Club steak and hamburger dinner?
Sure.
And he was talking about Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan, in the first half of, I think, the championship game, he said he scored 22 points. He had like 8 rebounds and 9 steals or something like that. And Bobby Knight went to Charles Barkley and says, Charles, listen to me. Larry Bird doesn't have one assist, not one assist. You go tell Larry Bird that I said if he doesn't get an assist, I'm pulling him out of the game. and Charles Barkley said, I ain't telling that to Larry. He says, you go tell that to Larry, I'll sit you down too. So Charles Barkley went over, told Larry, said, man, you got to get an assist. Coach Knight's getting upset. And Bird just looked at him and started laughing at him and stuff like that. And he's going, boy, I hope I don't get pulled out of this game. You know, it was Bobby Knight was a great speaker. He's my favorite speaker that's ever been there. And I walked up to him and I got to meet him, and I said, Coach, I'm just no professional fighter, but I always told people that if I had you in working my corner, that I would have never lost a fight. And he laughed at that pretty hard, and he goes, well, I don't know about that, but I could use you on the court a couple times here and there.
Yeah, he was sort of a feisty little guy. So
I said, Coach, I'd have gone through walls for you. He said, I bet you would.
If you played for Bobby Knight, you played hard.
That's right.
Because if you didn't play hard, you weren't going to play.
And you graduated college.
He did. That's right.
You know, all those people got their numbers up there on the ceiling,
on the rafters.
But not Isaiah Thomas, because Isaiah Thomas quit college and went to the pros.
Well,
and his name's not up there. You know, I mean, people say things, but hey, you have rules. You stay by the rules. He tells you before, when you join his team, you want your name up there, you graduate college.
Absolutely.
And that it should be like that for everybody, really.
It should be. I mean, every college player ought to go ahead and graduate from college.
Now I want to talk about something that I think really made you happy this week. The Price Cutters Golf Tournament. You're tired. You worked 3 days in a row out there.
I worked 4 days in a row.
4 days? Oh, Lord. That's a lot of work. I work for the golf course out there.
Right.
And I do security work out there. Nobody has ever stolen a golf ball when I'm out there. I want you to know that.
And not one Japanese fighter ever made it past the gate, right?
That's right. But it was good golf to this year. They played well, and but you got to meet somebody, didn't you?
I got to meet Tony Romo. Tony Romo, former Dallas Cowboy quarterback.
That was your team back then.
That was my team back in those days, and enjoyed just being with him just for the few minutes I was with him.
And a fist bump, I heard.
Oh yeah, I got a fist pump and a thank you and all that good stuff.
Man,
from Tony. And what was really neat was he was getting ready to tee off. He was the last person to tee off on Friday. And so he was coming from the driving range. You know, most of those players come out and they putt around for about, 10, 15 minutes before their tee time, and then they move on to the tee. Tony Romo comes in about 5 minutes before his tee time, drops 3 balls down in the rough, hits them onto the putting green, goes to the putting green, hits about 3 more balls into the hole, or attempts to put it in the hole. Makes a couple of them. he gets his 3 balls, goes up to the tee, says, "Thank you very much. Thanks for being here."
But you know something? He was a nice guy.
Oh,
That's
great
what I
guy.
heard. I heard he was really a nice celebrity, and the people all liked him and everything.
And he likes to come to Springfield.
He
does
stopped.
like to
He
come
stopped
to
at the
Springfield.
gatehouse where we work, and he'd stop and say hello to us and everything. And it
Mm-hmm.
was really nice. I loved golf. You and I took up golf at about the age of 16. Somebody had given the boys club 2 or 3 sets of golf clubs, so a lot of them didn't match, but they were golf clubs. So we went out there to the par 3 course, and we played for 2 or 3 months in a row out there. You know,
Some of those clubs I think were wooden clubs. They were the old wood shafts. So.
Yeah, they were old, but it was fun. It was just so much fun. And I remember your brother Larry Long, that he scored the first birdie I ever saw, and I was so jealous of him. He was using a wood on a par 3 hole, and he landed on the green and rolled up about 1.5 feet from the hole. We were all screaming, thinking it was a hole in one. And we went up there, and he got that birdie, and I was so jealous of him. Oh man, I wanted that to be me. And it took me about another 4 or 5 months before I got a birdie.
Well, I think there's been a few times when we probably got a different kind of birdie as they flew by.
Yeah, we had fun though. It's just such a fun game, but it is the most mental game I have ever played. I mean, I don't know anything that's more mental than golf. You drive a ball 340 yards, or whatever it is, 340 something, and you walk up there, you're feeling so good. Your next shot goes like 8 feet.
Yeah, your confidence level can just kind of go up and down with these golfers. And one of the participants at the price cutter was talking about the stress, and that's what you're really talking about, the
Right.
stress that goes mentally, the mental stress that happens when you're having to hopefully get to at least the cut line was 4 under. So if you're 4 under and you don't move on to Saturday and Sunday, then you played a really good round of golf.
Right.
But you're not going to earn any money.
Right. Now, when I was playing in Texas one time, Texas is really windy, and they hit balls. Not that they don't want balls to go way up in the air, on your drive. They like balls to go like a line drive and get a lot of distance and stuff.
Right.
Well, I was playing one time, and I swear this is true. I was hitting my chip shot up to the pin, and I hit the ball in the air, and the air took my ball and knocked and brought it back over my head. So the ball went back over my head, and I looked at the ball. I looked at this guy, and he goes, "I told you to use a 5-iron."
Yeah.
Just chip it up there, man. Don't hit the ball in the air. And I couldn't believe it. You know, I mean, I love the game. I love watching the Masters. I love the Masters, but I mean all the Grand Slams. I love to watch that. The pressure on those guys, and it's pressure they're putting on themselves. It's not like football where a defense has got so much pressure on the offense, you can't move the ball and you're losing, and you got to get that ball moving somehow. Golf, the pressure is you.
Yeah, golf is one of those games where you're playing against yourself, really, because you can't really play against the other player because you can't hit the ball for the other player, or you can't make a difference. You can't make them adjust their route or their ball path.
Right.
But you're the one responsible. So you got to know how to move the ball, how to make it curve a certain way or go a certain direction.
I never learned how to curve it.
No, I could never do that either. And to be able to watch these guys be able to control their swing. And, one of the things about putting, I noticed, I worked the putting green for 4 days. Man, all kinds of equipment that these professional golfers utilize to improve their putting or to measure their putting skills.
That they get for free.
Oh, they probably do get for free.
Oh, they do get it all for free.
But there's one guy, I can't think of what his name was, but he had this contraption that it was about 3 foot long. It folded up and down, and he used it to measure his swing and the angle of his swing on his putter. I'm like going, where did this come from?
Yeah.
But then we had other guys who just took uh, 4 golf tees and set them down side by side. And what they did was they made sure they could run their club through those tees without hitting them to make sure their stroke was straight. So it was amazing the kind of equipment that people had. Had one guy put a piece of metal over the cup, and all he did was rolling the ball through the metal. It was amazing what they did.
I love watching. It's like when Michael Jordan was playing golf, and he was playing golf all the time, and people kept saying, "Oh, I think Michael could probably play on the tour like they had out here. Michael could work his way up, play when he's 50 years old, he could play on the senior tour." It's not that easy. It's just not. And I remember a guy named Jim Murray told Michael Jordan one time in his column, because Michael was losing hundreds of thousands of dollars to the golfers, to the really good golfers that would play him tight and everything.
Sure.
You know? And he said, Michael, anytime you step on a golf course, there's always at least one guy there that'll beat you by 1 stroke every time. And you think you just got unlucky.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with luck, buddy.
All skill.
Oh, it's all skill.
And a lot of that skill is gained through just constant repetition.
And you have to be taught early. I'm 8 years old, 9 years old. You need to have your kids out there getting lessons, and not from dad and mom, from really coaches and stuff like that. Not that like Payne Stewart, his father helped him immensely, but he also had the right attitude to do it.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods' father.
Yeah.
He got people to work with Tiger, but he also helped Tiger a lot early on. I remember seeing Tiger Woods when he was like 8 or 9 years old on Johnny Carson's show. And
that was amazing. He could hit the ball a long way back then.
Yeah.
And there have been several golfers. I think Jordan Spieth's father helped him along the way with his golf swing, but mostly with their temperament, a lot of their mental temperament that they have.
Do you want to know the one sport that no father should teach his kid?
Rugby.
Boxing.
Have you watched the rugby matches on the Olympics?
No.
They're brutal.
Oh, they are.
They're brutal.
They are really some of the toughest guys I've ever seen. A friend of mine still plays rugby.
Oh.
But in boxing, sometimes guys fight because their fathers want them to fight.
Mm-hmm.
They take too much punishment because they don't want to move and act like that they might be, scared. They fight the way their father wants them to fight, which most of the time is just go right at somebody and throw punches. Well, that's not how you fight.
Well, you wouldn't want your grandson Daniel to go into boxing.
He would never go into boxing. I want him to learn how to fight, though. I want him to understand that there are people in this world that will try and start a fight with you, and I will show you how to end that idea really quickly.
Defend yourself and those types of things.
But I don't want him to box. He can box with me, or somebody that I trust really well.
Oh, he'll beat you, John.
There's a girl at Smitty's gym over there on National and Commercial. And I wish I could tell you her name. She is so nice. She's just a great woman. She's a woman. She's not a girl, but she's young. She throws body punches as well as any man I've ever seen in my life. And they asked me one time if I wanted to work out with her a couple rounds. And my belly said, no. My belly said, I don't think so, John.
That's probably a pretty smart.
Belly, see, I'm not as dumb as I look sometimes.
I have seen her workouts, and she's a tremendous boxer. And Smitty does a great job with those kids.
He does all of them.
In a lot of different ways, just not in the boxing ring, but outside the ring also.
Right. You got to have passing grades. I don't know if I'd have been the boxer I was if I'd had to have passing grades. No, I didn't fail anything.
No, you didn't fail at anything
until college, And anyway, no.
Well, let's don't talk about
yeah,
those college years. Those are distant memories.
lost years, but it was fun. And we played every sport there was to man. I mean, we never played rugby though, because
No.
it was like playing SWAT with a ball.
Yeah, and one of these days we'll talk about what SWAT was like, because that was a bad game at the boys' club. But when I say bad, I don't mean a bad. I'm talking bad.
Yeah, I mean, like you hurt when you get tackled, you get hurt. You're playing on the basketball court.
Yeah, but I was watching rugby this morning, and those guys are crazy. I mean, they are running through people, and heads are knocking.
No pads.
No pads. They're falling by the wayside.
Have you seen Australian football?
No, is it similar?
It's very similar, and it's rough. I mean, it's rough. Okay. I know this is true. The greatest lacrosse player of all time, Jim Brown.
No, okay.
I mean, he played for Syracuse, All-American 3 to 4 years in a row, whatever it was. Of course, I think he played as a freshman back then. They had rules. But Jim Brown, can you imagine Jim Brown running at you with that stick on his arm, with the ball on the stick, and you're supposed to hit him without pads? I don't think. Not me.
I know people who didn't want to hit him when he had pads in football.
Right.
So
tremendous. I mean, he was just so strong. And he would get up last. If he got knocked down, he would get up last, like he was really hurt and tired. He wasn't hurt or tired. He just run over you the next time. You know,
putting a little fakeroo on him, huh?
I loved Earl Campbell for the same reason. Earl Campbell hit people. Oh Lord, I played football the freshman year at Hillcrest, Coach Vaughn, and I loved him. I loved a lot of my coaches in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Great father figures, great people that are there to help you.
Great men of character.
Great character. Ray Fleeman was my first baseball coach for the Roughnecks.
Right.
We had some good teams too. We really did. Andy Bargo was in there. We had some good players, man.
You know, I was looking up this morning before I came over here to see how many medals the U.S. had won, and we had won 9 gold medals so far. Total of 24. We're still leading the pack.
We usually lead the pack, but it's hard though, man. This is a rough year to have the Olympics with all the sickness and stuff, and not being able to train as hard.
Does your wife have a favorite Olympic sport?
You have to spell the word sports to my wife to get her to understand what it is. I mean, she'll watch sports on TV if I'm watching a half an hour or 20 minutes. She doesn't want to watch the whole game. She'd rather go to a sports live and watch it live. She'll go to a Cardinals game here in Springfield, or we go to SMS basketball games, Drury basketball games.
Right, yeah.
And people don't realize those are actually very fun.
Oh, they're good.
And we've had some great teams. The women's team and the men's team, we don't care. We just go there to have a lot of fun.
Well, I know my wife, she loves to go to live sports also.
Not with you.
Just to see what other people are wearing. You know, I mean.
Well, they're all wearing shorts. Did you hear about the bikini bottoms or something?
No, I refuse to talk about bikinis. It's not a sport to me. I'm sorry. It may be to you, but it is not to me. Hey, by the way, what's your favorite sport? Olympic sport?
Oh, my favorite Olympic sport, man, I don't know. There's so many of them. I like track events. I like the 100-yard dash. I used to love running. I loved running but those guys are and they run so fast from the first, and then the last 20 yards they seem to speed up and pass people. I go, oh, and the 220. I like track. I always thought it was kind of cool.
You like the marathon? 21.6
miles
or 26.1 miles?
26 point something, 200 yards or something. But my friend Bob, it's going to be on
Oh,
TV,
yeah, Bob, yeah.
He's 76 years old. He runs marathons and half marathons. Now, I met him at a coffee shop, and he's become one of my friends, a really close friend, and I just love him. He just cracks me up. Vietnam vet. He got
Yeah.
back here, started running,
Yeah.
and he says he started running in Vietnam,
Well,
but he
that was
didn't.
from the enemy. No.
Yeah. But
Well, I do have a favorite event. It's swimming.
oh, I can't believe that
I
you can't
love-
even swim.
I know I can't swim, but I love to watch the swimming competition because it's one of those areas that the American team seems to always do really well in.
It's
But I asked my wife what her favorite sport was, and she said sport doesn't register on her give a hoot meter. She doesn't give a hoot about sports.
swimming. I admire. I tell you, swimmers are in shape. There's no, you don't swim unless you're in shape. And those coaches are rough. I remember seeing those kids at the boys' club sometimes when they had teams in there. They worked those kids hard, boy. I'm thinking, man.
Well, my specialty was the dead man float.
Yes. And
I can still do that one pretty good.
the swimming pool at the boys' club had a great influence on Dwayne. Number one, we were supposed to paint the swimming pool one time, and we started out on the
Wrong end.
wrong end of we started out on the short end, the shallow end, and ended up on the deep end and figured out we could no longer climb 10 feet on concrete to get out of there. So we had to scream and scream and scream till somebody came down.
We did not think that one out too clearly.
No, that was not. We were mad because we had to do it, I think. And we had to do it like 2 or 3 years in a row. And that stuff, that paint it's very.
By the time we got to the deep end, we didn't care what we were painting because the fume from the lines, the paint itself was kind of getting a little wild for us. But we had some great time.
Oh, it was great.
Doing that.
The Camp Arrowhead down in Marshfield, Missouri. We went down there for a week a year. We worked at the fair, tearing tickets at the rides, and then we got to go to the camp for a week for free. And it was special for an awful lot of people. I did not like camp as much as most people did, but it was special for even me. Got to go in boats and swim and fish and go to the creek and see snakes, live snakes and things like that. And, I mean, it was catch frogs and just have fun. It was, and we were all together, and we had different places to sleep and stuff like that. And it was just Bill Henderson. Dwayne and I, from the time we were like 14 on or 13, 14 on, we were staff members. So we were like in charge of a group of boys at the camp. And one night we decided Dwayne and I were going to sneak down to the KP hall and get some food just for us. And we got there, Mr. and Mrs. Henderson were there, and they were fixing the food because they knew we were going to show up. And I don't know how they knew, but
they knew.
They knew we were going to be there, and they fed all of us. All of us showed up, and they fed us all. It was amazing people there.
Yeah, one of the things, since we're talking about sports, on Thursday of camp week, we had Olympic Day.
That's right.
And we had like the canoe races, and we had land races, we had turtle races, anything that possibly could be Olympics.
And we ran all the way from the lake, from the dam, the lake, all the way across that up there. And I won that 2 years in a row.
But I remember a time when we were in the canoe races, which they have rolling. They have rolling in the Olympics. They have rolling. But we were in the canoe races, which is simple little rolling. And John was in the back of the canoe, and I was in the front of the canoe. And I think we were actually not in the race, but we were the spot where people went around us.
Right.
So we were coming in after the race was over.
Right.
And you decided that Dwayne was just a little bit too dry. And so you started rocking the boat.
I did it twice, and it went over the second time.
Yeah, I know. We turned it over the second time. And, of course, like you just said earlier, I'm not the greatest swimmer in the world. but we managed to get. It wasn't very deep.
It wasn't. We were on the very short end, by the dock.
Yeah, but
And,
still.
yeah, I know. It must have been. It must have been one time. I love Dwayne Long is my best friend growing up. I mean, he's just my friend. He's just my friend. You know, I love him. I love so many guys from the club and stuff. But one time, Dwayne and I was on Carney Street. We walked to a Dairy Queen, and we were walking back. Had the ice cream in our hand, ice cream cones in our hands, and we're licking them off and everything. And there was this huge dog, a big German Shepherd, on a big chain, and he could reach almost the sidewalk, but the sidewalk was up on a little bit of a rising, a little bit of a little hill. And Dwayne was walking, I just bumped him with my arm.
Yeah, to this day, that brings a little bit of anxiety level on my part when you talk about that story.
He went down that hill, and that dog goes, "Finally!"
Lunch.
But you made it up the hill, and so you knew you could handle yourself.
If there would have been an Olympic competition for getting up the hill, I would have won that day.
You'd have won the gold.
Gold medal. You know how much those gold medals are worth?
No.
They're worth over $100,000.
Well, when you spend 100,000 hours training, that it makes it worth it. I mean, I don't doubt that a lot of those people had 100,000 hours training, and I mean, it's
a lot of them are training for 4 years just to get into the Olympics.
Oh, but they're already trained before that, before they even get the 4 years to train.
Yeah.
So I just we're gonna wrap up here pretty soon. I just wanted to, man. I had NFL.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
the Packers. They might get to be on the same team this year.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If you had a guy on your team that was your quarterback, your star, would it make you upset that you had to wait this long to make sure he's coming back to your team? I'd be upset.
I'd be a little upset with him, but on the flip side of that, he's such a great player. I mean, he won Most Valuable Player last year, and so if they didn't have him coming back, there was no chance they're going to make the Super Bowl this year.
But I tell you, this will be his last year. That's what they say the contract is. But they want this new kid which means he's going to have some playing time this year.
Yeah, he should.
Rodgers may not be happy, but they're going to put that guy in the third and fourth quarters. I guarantee it.
They're going to have to in order to give him the experience he needs to be able to take over next year, if he takes over next year.
When I talk to football guys, they don't talk about the pain. They don't talk about running into people. What they talk about is the speed that those people rushing the quarterback, the guys that got to block them, they have to be so quick. And that's what they talk about, how fast these guys are.
Yeah, my understanding with Aaron, he is coming back more for his more to support his players. Devontae Adams and some of the others.
He's not taking any money this year.
He's not taking any money. Well, he's taking
30,
money,
000,
but he's probably gonna take a little bit of a cut in his contract because there's a couple other players that need more money in order for them to keep him for next year.
Ben Roethlisberger has done that every year. So has Brady.
Here's my favorite thing of sports here recently. The Cleveland Indians are now called the Cleveland Guardians. What in the world is happening with baseball?
Well, I mean, what does it mean? They're guardians? What does that mean?
Oh, simple. A guardian is an individual to whom a judge or a will gives the legal responsibility to care for, which means the individual doesn't have the capacity to care for themselves. So that means the city of Cleveland has no capacity to care for itself, and so they need guardians. So we have the Cleveland Guardian.
Do you remember the Guardians in New York City that would walk the streets?
Yeah, that'd be Guardian Angels.
Guardian Angels, right?
Yeah. But here you go. Here's what I think, real quickly before we have to sign off. Cleveland Indians, the Indian Nation had great Indians like Sitting Bull, Cochise, Red Cloud, Chief Joseph. The Cleveland Indian had great players like Bob Feller, Bob Lemon, Frank Robinson, Albert Bell. I don't see why they feel like they have to change the name of the team.
No.
Because a lot of Indian Braves, those kinds of folks.
A lot of Indians say they don't mind at all. There are a couple of tribes that say they do. But I mean, there's always going to be somebody disagreeing with something. My friend, it's your call, but what do you say? Let's get out of here.
Oh, I want to get out of here because I have an actual towel to throw in the towel
Well, that's
and get hung up on a mic. That's really good. All right. Well, we're going to have a great weekend.
Hey, you guys go out and watch some sports today. Play some sports. Do something. Have some fun. But you want to play pickleball 1 month from today, I will beat you.